Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Buys Flies. Today I'm going to be talking about four things to consider when choosing your flight school. The first thing I want to talk about is doing your research. Just figure out where you want to go and the flight schools that are available to you. I also wanted to talk about flight scheduling because a school that I went to, they talked about their schedule, but they're trying to get you in the air at least 3 days a week. That is your minimum goal. Something else you want to research while looking into a school is what type of aircraft they have. Different flight schools have different aircrafts. The one that I'm going to, they primarily use the Cessna 172, which is pretty much a well-known branded aircraft that a lot of flight schools use based off of their reliability. However, one flight school that I looked into had a light sport aircraft, which was pretty cool because they have a lot more, I don't want to say advanced technology, but they have a lot of new features that some things you can't have on the Cessna 172. They had a BRS system on it, which is ballistic recovery system, and what that does is it enables the pilot to pull a parachute in case of an emergency. And for me, I have a wife and a daughter who's 3 months old, and that was weighing heavily on me. You know, being a pilot, you take that risk every day. To know you can rely on a parachute makes you sleep better at night. And you might be surprised, I actually chose a school that did not have the sport aircraft, and I'll tell you why at the end of the video. The second thing you want to do is you want to take a tour of the facility. I narrowed it down to 2 different facilities I wanted to check out. The first one I went to, it was awesome. They had a lot of different studying rooms, they had simulators, the staff was motivated, the students were motivated. I was talking to students and instructors who just really wanted to be there. The other flight school that I toured didn't have as nice of a place for studying. They did have a simulator. The staff wasn't that great. I didn't see any students at all. They did have the Sportlight aircraft, but I didn't like that because I'm 210 pounds. I later learned that those aircraft, they only fly students that are under 200 pounds. As much as I would have liked the stability and knowing that they have the BRS parachute system on there, I ultimately couldn't fly that aircraft. The third thing you want to look at is the partnerships. Each flight school, not all of them, some of them can have partnerships. For example, SkyWest, Envoy Air, there's Mesa Airlines, there's GoJet Airlines, there's all sorts of different airlines that partner up with these schools to say, hey, I will mentor these pilots and I will help them along their pilot program. At the end of the day, they'll come work for me and I will refund them some of their tuition costs. Every different airline has different things that they offer, so you'd have to look into a specific regional airline to where you're going to live, what regional airlines you are interested in. It all depends on where you want to be, because regional airlines are regional to a certain area in the United States. If you're on the west side, you're going to have a few different airlines to choose from, whereas if you're on the east side, you have a few different other ones. So it really depends on where you're at and where you're going. The fourth thing you want to consider is financing. Flight school is not cheap. It is pretty expensive. For me, ultimately, I'll be paying around $90,000 for flight school. The flight school I decided to go to is ATP Flight School, based out of Ogden, Utah, and I start December 9th. The reason why I chose this flight school is their program is outlined to a T. I know every single date of my 9-month program from 0 to commercial, and it has my flights, my tests, my exams, everything. They're partnered with King Schools, which allows me to study right now before I go in. I'm knocking out a bunch of modules. Once I accomplish all these private pilot modules, King Schools will endorse me to take my private pilot's written exam. You can be there as long as you want. You have access to the facility, you have access to the studying rooms, the simulators. ATP Flight School doesn't hold me back. If I want to advance in something, if I study really hard and I want to take a test before I'm scheduled to do so, as long as I meet the requirements, I'm able to do that. ATP Flight School maintains their own aircraft. The facility's nice, the airport's nice, and overall for my family, the location was perfect. And I'm excited to start. December 9th is my start date. Hopefully I get my written exam done beforehand so I can go in a little ahead of schedule. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.